Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a massive, really fundamental shift happening right beneath our feet in the professional world. We're going to take a deep dive into how artificial intelligence isn't just changing how we do our jobs, it's completely transforming how we actually start working in the first place. Basically, we're looking at the end of the traditional entry-level job as we know it. We're going to uncover exactly how AI is seniorizing that very first rung of the corporate ladder.
If you've looked at a job board recently, you've probably felt this exact frustration. You know the drill. You type in entry level, you hit search, and suddenly you're staring at a job description that demands like 3 to 5 years of experience, advanced project management, and proven leadership skills. It feels a bit like a glitch in the matrix, right? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not a glitch. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you, and you are entirely validated in asking, seriously, where did all the actual entry-level jobs go?
Now, to answer that, we aren't just throwing around anecdotes or guessing. We're looking at data on a scale that is honestly kind of mind-blowing. This entire explainer is grounded in the PwC 2026 Global AI Jobs Barometer. And listen, they didn't just poll a handful of HR managers. They scraped and analyzed over 1 billion, yes, billion with a B, job advertisements from 27 countries across 6 continents to solve this labor market mystery. It is literally the definitive look at how active employer demand is shifting in real time. So let's dive into this foundational shift happening at the bottom of the ladder.
All right, jumping right into Section 1, the end of entry level.
The data here points to a pretty stark reality. We are seeing the death of the traditional entry-level role. Historically, companies hire junior workers to do the grunt work. We're talking basic data entry, simple scheduling, gathering initial info, or compiling basic code. But today, AI tools handle those simple tasks instantly and flawlessly. It's basically like hiring someone to punch numbers into a physical calculator when a spreadsheet can do the math in a millisecond. Because computers are taking over that repetitive work, companies just don't need to hire junior workers for it anymore. The starting line has officially moved.
Which leads us to Section 2, the AI impact chain.
PwC's methodology lays out this 5-part chain reaction. It's kind of like a domino effect. First, you have AI integration. Companies start deploying AI for high-volume admin stuff. Second is task elimination, where that manual compilation just entirely vanishes from human workloads. Third is entry-level contraction, meaning the overall number of these basic jobs shrinks. Fourth is skill elevation. Employers start jacking up the requirements for whatever junior roles are actually left. And finally, step 5, a total structural transformation of the job market.
When we focus on step 3 of that chain, the contraction phase, we're seeing a massive shift. Globally, as those basic tasks just vanish into the digital ether, standard junior roles have declined by 10%. That's huge. 1 in 10 of those classic get-your-foot-in-the-door jobs just gone. They simply no longer exist.
But nature abhors a vacuum, right? And this is where step 4, skill elevation, kicks in brilliantly. Because while standard junior roles shrank, there was a massive 35% growth in what the data calls seniorized entry-level positions. So the jobs might still have junior or associate in the title, but the requirements, they've been dramatically elevated to match what we literally used to expect from mid-level or even senior staff.
Which really brings us to the ultimate conclusion of this impact chain. When we look at entry-level roles in fields that have high AI exposure, so think professional services, finance, tech, they are 7 times more likely to require leadership and advanced judgment. 7 times. Let that sink in for a second. Your very first job now demands heavy, human-intensive skills from day one. You're not being hired to process data anymore. You are being hired to make complex judgments about the data that the AI just processed for you. And this structural transformation is effectively splitting the modern labor market right down the middle.
And that split takes us into Section 3, the 2-track labor market. The data from DecodeX inside this barometer highlights a massive fork in the road. On one track, we've got professionalized roles. Here, AI handles the basic work, which actually makes the human more valuable because they get to focus purely on high-level strategy. But on the other track, we have a huge warning sign: democratized roles. This is the democratization trap. This is the scenario where AI makes complex work so incredibly easy that literally anyone can do it. It lowers the skill barrier so much that the demand for workers weakens and wage growth just stalls out completely. Obviously, you desperately want to be on that professionalized track.
Moving right along to Section 4, the new apprenticeship gap.
Think about it. If the basic routine tasks are just gone, how on earth does a junior employee learn an industry from the ground up? It creates this, well, tasteful yet highly frustrating irony that Business Insider pointed out. We call it the experience catch-22. New grads are hitting a brick wall where entry-level jobs require senior skills. You need leadership and strategic experience just to get your first job, but you need a job to get leadership and strategic experience. It is a total paradox, and it's completely reshaping how we view early careers.
So how are companies actually handling this? Well, first, HR departments are actively rewriting job descriptions. They're stripping out the routine requirements and just stacking them with high-level responsibilities. Second, hiring managers are shifting how they select candidates. They are flat out rejecting people who only bring basic technical abilities to the table, favoring folks who can demonstrate advanced strategic thinking. And finally, organizations are totally overhauling their internal training. They are desperately trying to figure out how to onboard people directly into complex assignments without that traditional, slow apprenticeship period.
And just to make things a little more stressful, the PwC data flags this massive issue of skill instability. In these high AI exposure roles, the required skills are changing twice as fast as in low exposure roles, literally twice as fast. That means whatever professional knowledge you have on graduation day can become obsolete incredibly quickly. Your starting skill set honestly matters less and less. Your rapid adaptability is now absolutely your most critical professional asset.
Okay, deep breath. So what do we do about all this? Let's look at Section 5, the Future Work Playbook. The sources actually give us a really clear survival guide here, with direct, actionable takeaways for everybody. If you're a job seeker, stop relying on basic technical skills. You have to highlight your personal judgment, your adaptability, and your face-to-face communication. If you're an employer, you've got to rebuild your talent pipeline to teach senior-level decision-making from day one. And for universities, educational programs have to pivot, like yesterday. Rote memorization and basic execution are dead ends. The focus has to be entirely on complex, human-centric problem solving.
And listen, if you need a little financial motivation to adapt, how does a 62% wage premium sound? The PwC data reveals that if you can successfully combine your specific domain knowledge with a real understanding of AI capabilities, you can earn a massive premium, averaging 62% higher pay. The market is absolutely rewarding the people who master that professionalized track.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to chew on. The repetitive tasks are gone. We've handed those over to the machines. But what's left is beautifully, wonderfully human. Creative problem solving, team leadership, and personal judgment. So in an increasingly automated world, how will you adapt your highly human-intensive skills to stand out? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating data, and I'll see you next time as we continue to break down the most important shifts shaping our world.